Good evening, everybody. Good evening. It's good to see every one of you here. And before I say a few things that I was asked to say, I'm a Christian and I came from Christian persuasion. I want to open us up with a little word of prayer. Shall we bow our head? Our dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this evening and for everyone that's gathered here this evening and for this festive occasion and for the celebration of our best and best teachers here, Lord. We just pray that you bless every one of us gathered here. Thank you for everything we're going to do. Thank you for all of our special guests here. We pray, Lord, that you bless everyone and that all that we do here, you bless it, O Lord. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen. Thank you, everyone, for coming out, and I want to welcome you here on behalf of Lee County Board of Education. You are a special guest, and we want to recognize several of you here. I saw the press call, and Margaret and Noah here, and we saw introduce our new photographer from Sanford Herald. Asia just came on as the photographer for the newspaper. Also, I want to recognize my colleague on the school board. We have our vice chair, Patrick Kelly. We have two other ones over there. We have Stephen Coble and Lynn Smith. We have Mrs. Womack, Sherry Womack, and we have Mrs. Bowen there. All of them are members of Lee County Board of Education. Is Mrs. Livingston here? She's not here tonight. But we welcome everybody to this special event tonight. I saw Sam Gaskin, City Council. Did he leave? Okay, he was here. And we want to welcome every one of you. I know that we have a parent, we have a spouse, whatever your role is that you came to support someone here tonight. We want to say thank you for coming, and we want to celebrate our teachers who have worked hard and their colleagues have chosen them to come here tonight. You are all our special guests. I hope you get something to eat. We have something very delicious there. So thank you for coming here tonight. I will hand the rest over at this time to Dr. Brian Andy Bryan.
Good evening. Before I recognize the sponsors, could you join me in giving a hand to the orchestra for their wonderful play tonight? Thank you so much. I think that really adds a lot to the occasion for us. On behalf of Lee County Schools, welcome tonight. This is one of, I think, the highlights of the year to recognize our Teacher of the Year for 2018. And it just so many things go into being an educator and being a teacher. And tonight, it's always great to recognize those people who've been recognized by their peers as being wonderful teachers. And we're very lucky here in Lee County to have a number of great and wonderful educators across our district. But it's also very nice to recognize the people who have impacted children and the people who have been recognized by their peers to sort of stand out this year. So it's a wonderful night. This night could not be possible without our sponsors who year in and year out have been so instrumental in helping us put this together, and also to provide some special opportunities for the winner of the award tonight. And we'll talk a little bit about that later. But first, if he could stand, I'd like to recognize Will Wilkinson from Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick and GMC. Could stand in the back. Give him a round of applause. For those of you who don't know, Will is the person that makes it possible for our Teacher of the Year to have a car to drive for a year, which is a very nice perk. Also, from Wells Fargo, I'd like to recognize Jim Rosensteel. Jim, please stand on the side over here. Jim's the kind of guy that everybody likes. He likes to hand out money. And we're very appreciative for what Wells Fargo does for us and for our program. A couple other people before I call them up here to recognize our Teachers of the Year from each school. Two longtime supporters of Lee County Schools. First, from the Sanford Area Growth Alliance Chamber of Commerce Executive Director, Meg Moss, and all of their efforts to support Lee County Schools. Meg. And also Mr. Bill Horner, Chairman of the Lee County Education Foundation. I think it goes without saying how much the Education Foundation has done for our schools. Mr. Horner, thank you so much for supporting us. As is the tradition for our ceremony, I'd like to ask Mr. Horner and Ms. Moss to come forward. They read out some very nice words about our Teachers of the Year from each school and help introduce everybody, and then we will get into awarding the Teacher of the Year. If you all could come forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bryan. Again, I'm Bill Horner from the Lee County Education Foundation. And Meg and I are really delighted to be here again. This is our second time doing this. We had a great time last year, and it's such an exciting night for those of you who are nominated and the rest of you who are educators. I'm involved in a lot of different education programs in addition to the foundation. Married a former Lee County teacher, my wife Leanne, who we actually met 30 years ago, not far from here in the cafeteria at Lee County High School. And my daughter-in-law teaches in Lee County Schools. So on behalf of my board and the foundation, would like to congratulate those of you who are nominees. Like to thank those of you who are educators who work so hard for our kids and so hard for our community. It goes without saying that the teaching profession is a very, very difficult one, underappreciated under a lot of things. But we know the contributions you make to the quality of life in Lee County, and we thank you for your service. Before I bring Meg up to talk a little bit about her role, just want to make note of a couple of different events for the foundation. We have our annual Head of Class presentation. The 2017-2018 Head of Class Award is going to be done on September 18th at the Dennis A. Wicker Civic Center. And then on September 19th, we're going to be celebrating the 15th anniversary of the foundation with a very special event, and you'll be hearing more about that in the weeks to come. So thank you again for the opportunity to be here. Meg?
Very briefly, on behalf of the Sanford Lee County business community, truly, thank you for what you do to prepare our future workforce. From the cradle to their careers, your influence over our young people makes a world of difference. And without further ado, Bill, I'm going to turn it over to you, and so we can hear our nominees for this evening.
Okay, so what Meg and I are going to do is we're going to read the nominations of the winning Teacher of the Year from each school. So as we call your name in turn, I want you to please come up here and stand with us during the reading of the nomination, then return to your seat. And then when we're all finished, Dr. Bryan will come up and give the finalists. So our first Teacher of the Year from B.T. Bullock Elementary School is Heather Gaines. Heather? Please give her a hand. B.T. Bullock Elementary is thrilled to call Heather Gaines its Teacher of the Year. Heather has blessed the B.T. Bullock staff and students for the past 3 years, where she serves as a reading intervention teacher. Heather obtained a degree in elementary education from UNC Wilmington. She is married to Mitch and enjoys spending time with her precious family and nieces. We wish that everyone could spend some time in Heather's classroom to observe the magic with their own eyes. Heather makes learning foundational reading skills fun and engaging. Through skillful planning, she uses rhythm, repetition, and research-based practices to close the gap for struggling readers. She skillfully determines students' needs and caters her instruction, immediate feedback, and coaching to each child. She intertwines complicated processes and progress monitoring into a seamless process. She has high expectations and gently pushes children beyond their comfort level to grow academically. This year, Heather took on the momentous task of leading the response to intervention system for Bullock. She conducted thorough data analysis, determined student-specific needs, and led a team to provide targeted interventions. Her skill and acumen has impacted the entire school in such a positive way. It is a true honor to work with a gifted educator like Heather Gaines. Congratulations.
If Mr. James Beasley Mungeon can please join me at the front. From Bragg Street Academy. Mr. James Beasley Mungeon obtained his Bachelor of Arts in English Literature in 2007 from New York Institute of Technology, and in 2009 he obtained his Master of Science in Instructional Technology. He obtained his teacher education preparation in birth to kindergarten from Elizabeth State University. Mr. Beasley Mungeon joined Bragg Street Academy in 2015 and was nominated our Teacher of the Year for 2016-2017. He continues to contribute to the success of our school. He has engaged some of our reluctant students. He also garners support from parents in the community by establishing positive working relationships and identifying opportunities to be involved. His passion for learning is translated to his students as they begin to appreciate the idea of learning. Modeling and motivating are some of the ways he demonstrates leadership while serving as the positive behavior intervention strategies and school improvement team chairs. Networking is his specialty. He works closely with lead teachers, support staff, and stakeholders to meet the needs of our students. High School Seminar is his most recent success as he matches students with mentors and inspirational speakers. The students are challenged to think critically about where they are, what they have been through, and most importantly, where they are headed. Reliability is the one word to describe his strongest quality. Bragg Street Academy is proud to present Mr. James Beasley Mungeon as its Teacher of the Year and prophetically declare a future superintendent of an amazing school district.
The Teacher of the Year from Broadway Elementary School is Laura Curran. You've got this. Those three simple words describe Laura Curran's approach to her classroom, her colleagues, and her life. Mrs. Curran is a positive leader among her students, colleagues, and the Broadway PTO. In her first year at Broadway, Mrs. Curran had a large active class. Her teacher assistant became ill early in the school year and was unable to return. A less positive teacher may have taken those facts into account and decided to do something else for a living. Mrs. Curran instead faced each day with an upbeat, optimistic attitude. She always gives each of her students her best, even on those days when she didn't always receive their best in return. A successful first year has led to her being honored as a Broadway Teacher of the Year in her 5th year. Along the way, she has served as the president of the Broadway PTO and grade level chair, presented on best practices to the Lee County Schools Curriculum and Instruction Committee, and made time for every important event for both of her daughters. Mrs. Curran's students describe her as funny and caring. They wish they could stay with her for 2nd grade too. Her teacher assistant describes her as caring, make learning fun kind of teacher. Broadway Elementary School is fortunate to have such a teacher who is invested in her students and the good of the entire school. We are extremely proud of our 2018-19 Teacher of the Year at Broadway Elementary School, Laura Curran.
Will Mary Beth Steck please join me at the front from Deep River Elementary School? Be somebody who makes everybody feel like somebody. KID president may just as well have been referring to Mary Beth Steck, for this embodies who she is as a teacher. Her classroom is a place where students feel welcomed and valued. Students hold classroom jobs and are taught their behavior is just as important as their academics. Each day is a new day and a chance for students to show their potential in the nurturing environment that she has established and maintains through personal example. Learning is fun and fundamental in Mrs. Steck's classroom. She incorporates hands-on activities and unique learning experiences, even reaching out to the community to plan events that complements the standards being taught, from Dr. Seuss visits to the Butterfly Lady to musical guests. Mrs. Steck co-teaches for part of the morning with Mrs. Garner. This collaboration requires planning and commitment to meet the needs of her students. She is constantly adjusting her practice to better meet those needs, all while seeking to earn her national board certification. Mrs. Steck has blessed Deep River with her presence for the last 4 years as a second grade teacher. She and her husband Mike have 2 beautiful girls, Lily and Madeline. Born and raised in Sanford, Mrs. Steck has the heart's desire to educate children in Lee County the way she was brought up. God has truly blessed the river with Mrs. Steck's teaching. We are forever grateful for her hard work and dedication.
The Teacher of the Year at East Lee Middle School is Yvette Batten. Yvette Batten is a 6th grade ELA teacher at East Lee Middle School. Yvette has worked in Lisa County schools for more than a dozen years. She started out as a tutor at Broadway Elementary School in 2005. In 2008, she transitioned to a Read 180 tutor at East Lee, and for the past 6.5 years, she has taught 6th grade ELA. She has also served as 6th grade chairman, MTSS implementation member, AIG committee member, SIT member, Beta Club advisor, and yearbook advisor. That's quite a list. A colleague wrote this about Yvette. Mrs. Batten is Mrs. East Lee. She goes above and beyond not only for her current students, but former students as well. She can be seen at all after-school events with camera in hand to capture memories being made. She has given up Saturdays to help at wrestling events and has given her time after school for tutoring and Beta Club. She is also a great friend and willing to help when and where there is a need. On a personal note, Mrs. Batten enjoys spending time with her husband, Will, their 2 children, Sarah, who's a junior at UNC Asheville, and Caleb, who's a senior here at Lee County High School, and their sweet dog, Jake. East Lee is honored to have Mrs. Batten serve as its Teacher of the Year. Her hard work and dedication are greatly appreciated. Congratulations.
Will Candace Land from Floyd L. Knight please join me at the front? Floyd L. Knight serves students with a vast array of needs and ability levels. This requires compassion, flexibility, and understanding. In order for the students to succeed, staff members have to collaboratively work together to maximize learning throughout the school environment. Floyd L. Knight is honored to be represented by a teacher that exhibits these traits and many more. Our Teacher of the Year received her Bachelor of Science in Birth to Kindergarten from Fayetteville State University. She then pursued her Master's in Early Childhood Studies in 2012. The majority of her career has been serving preschoolers with various disabilities and delays. She mentors her colleagues and supervises student teachers within the school. Not only does she teach students, she is a trained parent educator through the Triple P, Positive Parenting Program, where she can support parents with the challenges they face with parenting their children with disabilities. Throughout the 2 years she has been at Floyd Knight, she has made a great impression on our students, our staff, and our parents. Her colleagues report that she is compassionate and strives to do what is needed to help her students succeed. She holds high expectations for herself and her students. Our Teacher of the Year is a proud mother of 2 students at Southern Lee High School and is an active member of Ebenezer Gospel Training Center, where she serves as the Youth Department chairperson. It gives the staff of Floyd L. Knight great pleasure to introduce Candace Land as their Teacher of the Year.
The Teacher of the Year from Greenwood Elementary is Reba Bowman. Greenwood Elementary is proud to present Reba Bowman as its Teacher of the Year. Mrs. Bowman is a 3rd grade teacher who works tirelessly to ensure that her students see, learn, and experience all that they can in 3rd grade. Mrs. Bowman's years of service have taught her students many experiences. Following a textbook can be easy, and printing worksheets can be efficient, but Mrs. Bowman goes beyond the basics for her students. She makes the effort to facilitate projects, plays, competitions, and lots of interactive learning. She has a track record of success that is admired by her peers. Mrs. Bowman gladly teaches students with a reputation of challenge, and she makes it look easy. At Greenwood, Mrs. Bowman is known for setting high expectations and doing whatever it takes to create a team of parents and teachers to help her students succeed. A parent needs a conference at 7:30 p.m., Mrs. Bowman will be waiting. Can't come to a conference? Mrs. Bowman will come to you. She loves her students and will exhaust every option to positively impact their future. Mrs. Bowman has only been a part of the Greenwood School family for a few years, but you would never know that. She is a Hornet through and through. She is a PTO board member, a mentor to any and all teachers, and a fixture at school functions and on nights and weekends. Mrs. Bowman's positive teacher leadership makes the entire school stronger. Greenwood is very pleased to honor Reba Bowman for her many contributions to education as its 2018-19 Teacher of the Year.
Will Maggie Womble from J. Glenn Edwards Elementary School please join me at the front? J. Glenn Edwards Elementary is proud to present Maggie Womble as our Teacher of the Year. John Quincy Adams once said, "If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, then you are a leader." Maggie Womble is a leader. She inspires her students and colleagues to believe in themselves and to work hard for their goals and dreams. You can feel Maggie's inspiration upon walking into her classroom and simply just being in her presence. Mrs. Womble received a bachelor's degree in elementary education from East Carolina University. She has taught for 6 years in Lee County at Edwards. Maggie is happily married to her husband Seth, who is also an educator. Mrs. Womble was inspired to go into teaching by her kindergarten teacher, Miss Kathy Angel, a loving teacher that made a lasting impact. Miss Angel instilled in Maggie a love and passion for children and learning. When we asked Mrs. Womble's 3rd grade students, what makes Mrs. Womble such a special teacher, we overwhelmingly heard responses of, "She always makes it fun. She helps me so much. She is silly. She giggles a lot. She makes me smile, and she always listens." Mrs. Maggie Womble is a difference maker, making a difference in the lives of her students and everyone she works with. Maggie is an inspiration to both adults and children alike, and we are proud to have her represent J. Glenn Edwards as our Teacher of the Year.
The J.R. Ingram Elementary School Teacher of the Year is Patty Barlow. J.R. Ingram's Teacher of the Year, Patty Barlow, is a graduate of UNCG with a Bachelor of Science in Mathematics, and St. Andrew's Presbyterian College, where she received her teaching license. She has a Master's of Arts in Reading Education from UNC Pembroke. She has 2 sons, one currently living in China and one living in Taiwan, and 2 grandchildren also living in China. She is a first-grade teacher in her 22nd year at Ingram. She serves as a mentor for beginning teachers, is a member of our Lighthouse team, is locally endorsed in AIG, and has served on the district committee for creation of math curriculum materials for the 1st and 2nd grade. Mrs. Barlow is a beloved staff member, and her colleagues describe her in the following way. Although she is an experienced teacher of 20-plus years, she's not afraid to try new things. She is very tech-savvy and hands-on, especially in the area of science. She's always willing to share her lessons and help others in preparation of the teaching of those lessons. She is a teacher who believes lessons are best taught through using not only your brain, but most importantly, your hands. They go on to say that they are fortunate to have Patty on their team, and their students are very blessed to have her as a teacher. Her students certainly agree and describe her as smart, sweet, cute, funny, and clever. When asked to explain how clever Patty Barlow is, one of her students says, "When there's a problem, Mrs. Barlow fixes it." Without a doubt, Patty Barlow is an irreplaceable asset to the Ingram staff and loved by everyone. Congratulations on this well-deserved honor for being J.R. Ingram's Teacher of the Year.
Will Katie Eddings from Lee County High School please join me at the front? Miss Eddings is a graduate of Pembroke Senior High, Pembroke, North Carolina. Immediately after high school, she entered Robeson Community College, where she completed an associate's degree program in police science. Upon completing this degree, she joined the Air Force and served during Desert Storm. After the Air Force, she spent 12 years as a safety and security manager in Las Vegas, Nevada, before returning to school. She earned a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, and a Master of School Administration from the University of North Carolina at Pembroke. She is truly a lifelong learner. Her teaching career began in 2004 in the public schools of Robeson County as a middle school social studies and science teacher. In 2008, she transferred to Moore County Schools, where she taught in the classroom for 2 years before accepting a position as an assistant principal. After 5 years as an assistant principal, she decided that she missed the classroom and became an avid elective teacher with Lee County High School. Mrs. Eddings is married and has 3 children. Caleb is a sophomore at Lee County High School, Robert is a 5th grader at Greenwood Elementary, and Eliza will be 5 and is excited to start kindergarten at J. Glenn Edwards Elementary. She believes that teaching is about relationships with students, parents, and other significant adults in the lives of her students. Creating a classroom in which students feel cared about, not just by the teacher, but also by each other, coupled with the disciplines of writing, inquiry, collaboration, organization, and reading, will close the achievement gap. Her mother is her inspiration for teaching. She was an EC assistant when she was in elementary school. She would work with children other teachers felt would never be able to function out in the world on their own. Her mother would load these special needs children in a bus and every year take them to see the Ice Capades and the USS North Carolina battleship. She would bring them home, feed them, and clothe them. Her love and concern for her students created lifelong relationships that Mrs. Eddings hopes to achieve in her teaching career.
The Teacher of the Year from Lee Early College is Brittany Delmain. Bubbly, bright, beloved. Brittany Delmain is all of these things and more. Brittany truly stands out among her peers and exemplifies what it means to be an incredible teacher leader. Her effervescent personality is contagious, and is one of the things that makes Lee Early College such an amazing place to work and learn. She is always positive. It is impossible to be around her and not want to smile. She uses this energy to motivate students to become their best selves. She leads by example, demonstrating a commitment to excellence in all of her endeavors. Ms. Delmain graduated magna cum laude from Appalachian State in May of 2012 with a Bachelor of Science in English Secondary Education. She began her teaching career at Scotland County High School as an English 2 instruction teacher, then taught for 2 years at Nash Rocky Mount Early College High School as the English 1, 3, and 4 teacher and the graduation project coordinator. She has been teaching at Lee Early College for the past 3 years as an English 1, Foundations of English 2, English 4, AVID, ACT Prep, and English 111 and 112 support teacher. She currently teaches English 1, Foundations of English 2, and AVID. She is our AVID site coordinator as well. Brittany strives to connect with each and every student by participating in the Lee County Community Orchestra. You should have been playing over there earlier. And attending monthly poetry sessions at Karma Cafe, where she encourages students to share their poetic talents. She is the advisor for drama, show choir, and speech and debate clubs, and serves as advisor for the Beta Club. Ms. Delmain is also a member of the school's Safety and Public Relations Committees and serves as the website manager and runs the Lee Early College CCCC Instagram account. Lovingly referred to as Miss Delmom by her students, her freshies rely on her calm, reassuring demeanor to help them navigate their first year at Lee Early College. Her bright smile and warm spirit help create a welcoming environment for all who enter the doors of the school. Providing invaluable support to students and staff alike, she is the first team member to volunteer for an event, assist in a crisis, or just provide a listening ear to someone who needs it. It is an honor and privilege to have Ms. Delmain on the Lee Early College team. She is truly an amazing teacher, respected colleague, and an overall genuinely wonderful human being. Team LEC is proud to recognize Brittany Delmain as its 2018-19 Teacher of the Year.
Will Mr. Vincent Pinar from Stanley Middle School please join me at the front? Stanley Middle School is proud to present Mr. Vincent Pinar as our Teacher of the Year. Mr. Pinar began his career in education in 1985, right after serving as a captain in the military in his native country of South Africa. He taught math for 11 years, was principal for 6, and then ventured to the United States and United Kingdom as a math teacher with Visiting International Faculty, VIF. Vincent moved back to the United States and joined San Lee's staff when it opened in 2008. Mr. Pinar is involved in an array of leadership roles at San Lee. He serves on our school's leadership team, as a mentor for beginning teachers, and trains our staff in best practices for teaching and learning using AVID professional learning modules. He is currently our AVID elective teacher and AVID site team leader, and was instrumental in San Lee being named an AVID National Demonstration School, one of 4 schools recognized with this honor in the state of North Carolina. Vincent sponsors the AVID Club, as well as organizes, records, and uploads our daily news broadcast on YouTube. His stellar teaching has been recognized in the past as the VIF International Teacher of the Year in 2008 and the Lee County Schools Teacher of the Year in 2011. Vincent has a devoted wife, a 6th grade social studies teacher also at San Lee. He has 3 children, twin sons and a daughter and 3 grandsons. Mr. and Mrs. Pinar enjoy spending time with friends, traveling, and being outdoors camping and boating. Vincent Pinar embodies what we at San Lee believe makes a great teacher through his high expectations with relentless support for his students as well as his colleagues. San Lee is extremely proud to call Mr. Pinar a stallion, our Teacher of the Year, and even more elated at the possibility of him being appropriately named Lee County Teacher of the Year.
The Teacher of the Year at Southern Lee High School is Beulah Palmer. Hey. Southern Lee High School is proud to recognize Mrs. Beulah Palmer as its Teacher of the Year. Mrs. Palmer has more than 15 years of teaching experience and joined the math department at Southern Lee in 2015. Prior to coming to Lee County, Mrs. Palmer taught math and business education classes at Harnett Central Middle School and Western Harnett High School. She obtained a Bachelor's of Business Administration degree from North Carolina Central University and began her teaching career in 2001. Mrs. Palmer affectionately refers to her classroom as the House of Love, and any student who has had the privilege to be in her classroom certainly feels loved and appreciated. Her students often refer to her as Mama Palmer, and she certainly embodies the characteristics of a loving mother, showing love when students are successful and sometimes instilling fear when they are choosing the wrong path. She understands the importance of forming positive, meaningful relationships with students, which goes hand in hand with her teaching philosophy, which is love the children. The love and compassion shown in her classroom undoubtedly came from her own family. She was married to Mr. Johnny Palmer, whom she says is one lucky man. She grew up in a house of love with her 10 brothers, 4 sisters, and her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Eli Alford. Although she never had any children of her own, her large family and her students are enough to keep her busy each day. To anyone considering a career in education, Mrs. Palmer is quick to say that your heart must be in it. Teaching is a profession of the heart, she says, and if you stay in it, I promise that you will see the fruits of your labor. Southern Lee High School is proud to present Mrs. Beulah Palmer as its Teacher of the Year.
Will Caroline Phillips from Tramway Elementary please join me at the front? Caroline Phillips, Tramway's Teacher of the Year, is the definition of flexibility, humility, and love. Barriers have no place in Mrs. Phillips' classroom. She quickly identifies obstacles for students and finds ways to remove them. Not only does she remove barriers, but she replaces them with high-yield instructional strategies to deliver the best chance of success for students. Her motivation and energy are unending. She goes to students' therapy appointments, dance recitals, and ball games. She even coaches their upward basketball teams. She wears a fanny pack around the classroom and building to keep necessary supplies on hand for students and keeps herself current on the most popular dance moves for the brain breaks she offers her kiddos throughout the day. It is clear that Mrs. Phillips has built a strong relationship with each student that walks through her classroom door. While she is willing to do whatever it takes to meet the needs of her students, she stops at nothing until she has found a way to challenge each student to meet their full potential. Her students would say they feel loved and safe in her classroom, and many have soared socially this year from the support Mrs. Phillips has given them. Congratulations.
Okay, we've got 2 left. This kind of feels like we got a voice thing going on. We've got Team Meg and Team Bill, and I don't know how in the world you pick a winner from among this group. This is amazing. The Teacher of the Year from Warren Williams School is Millie Harris. The Warren Williams Teacher of the Year is a cum laude graduate from Fayetteville State University. She began her teaching career in Lee County as an instructional assistant, and after 4 years earned her certification and moved on to the Mort IV program for 8 years. She has been with Warren Williams for 5 years. This Teacher of the Year is one of a kind. She knows that all children are active learners and should be taught as individuals. Inclusive classrooms allowing hands-on experience and play are the most effective tools. Being creative and conscious of each student's strengths, weaknesses, and his or her level of development helps children meet the challenges and learning goals. Her inspiration to become a teacher came from 2 life events. She was shy as a child and didn't really get the support she needed to blossom. And later on, as a teacher assistant, she worked with a caring and supportive teacher named Helen Starr, who depended and cared about each individual child. Ms. Starr proved that no student need be neglected. She was inspired to share this love and support with all students in her care. Millie Harris has been married 18 years to her husband Tim and has a beautiful daughter and 2 wonderful stepchildren. She enjoys church, serving God, spending time with her family and friends. This Teacher of the Year has this advice for aspiring teachers. Understand why you want to teach, what you want to teach, and who you want to teach. If it's not for love and compassion, choose another profession. Be patient and renew your mind every day. Do not hold on to yesterday's negatives, but allow each day to be new for you and your students. We would like to congratulate Mrs. Millie Harris, Warren Williams as Teacher of the Year for 2018-19.
And last but certainly not least, from Wesley Middle School, will Travis Atkinson please come forward? It is my distinct honor to introduce Mr. Travis Atkinson. He is our 2018-2019 Teacher of the Year for Wesley Middle School. He represents our school with an unwavering pride. He is a graduate of Slippery Rock University of Pennsylvania and has a BS in History and a minor in Political Science and East Asian Studies. He continued his studies by earning a master's in secondary education. He was inspired by his mother to enter education, whose dream was to be an English teacher. Travis began his journey into teaching in 2008 in North Carolina when he began as a substitute, long-term sub, teacher assistant, a certified teacher, and eventually administration and educational leadership. He is a member of our health and PE department at West. Outside of teaching, he is a fully certified firefighter and EMT. He serves as a mentor to several of our beginning teachers at West. He is also the head football coach at our school. Travis continues to build upon his leadership with work through our school improvement team. He wears many hats at Wesley, and he always finds a way to make it happen at our school. We are proud of him, and he lives by one basic philosophy in serving our students every day at West. Do whatever it takes to assist our students in being as successful as they can. Congratulations.
Could you join me in one more time, giving a round of applause to all of our nominees? I think Bill Horner had it right. This is a difficult decision. Just so you know, how do you go about making a decision like this when you have so many awesome educators? We have a Teacher of the Year selection committee. And we're very, very fortunate to have 5 members of that group that come together and interview each of the nominees from each school. The most recent Teachers of the Year are on that group. For this year, our 2012-2013 Teacher of the Year, Jody Stauffer from Lee County High School. Please give him a round of applause. Our 2015-2016 Teacher of the Year, Wendy Bryan Motley from Broadway Elementary School. Our 2016-2017 Teacher of the Year, Brandon Morehouse from Deep River Elementary School. Also, our 2017-2018 Principal of the Year, Amy Petrarca from Greenwood Elementary School. And 2017-2018 Assistant Principal of the Year, Angela Colvin from Southern Lee High School. It is a great honor to be nominated from any school for this award. But we only have one winner. It is with great pleasure tonight that I read the bio for that winner and then ask the winner to come forward. This educator is passionate about their profession and believes in building relationships with students. To support students, this teacher takes educating beyond the classroom walls by attending athletic events, dramas, and community outreach. To guide students towards civic responsibility, this educator facilitated adopt-a-family events and fundraising for breast cancer. This avid educator is at the forefront of our district's mission that supports the idea that all students are capable of succeeding. She has taken it upon herself to improve school morale for staff and students by organizing special events. If you would ask her students to use one word to describe her, they would say real. A good example being real is hanging your high school's transcript on your classroom wall to show that you were a struggling student and that if she can, they can too. And in the case of Lee County Schools Teacher of the Year Award isn't enough, this educator has been selected as a teacher speaker for the Avid Summer Institute in Orlando in July, sharing her Avid story with 2,500 fellow educators. The 2018-2019 Lee County Schools Teacher of the Year is Katie Eddings from Lee County High School. We know that plaque is wonderful, but I think there's probably more. So at this time, I'd like to ask Jim Rosensteel from North Carolina Wells Fargo to come forward, please.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I look out on this this crowd. This is, I believe, my third event in a row. This event keeps getting bigger. The teachers here, I know there are days that you have that you wish maybe you did something else. But I have to share a personal story. My own son, who's now graduated from Wilmington, at 7th grade, was having a heck of a time with school. He was so inspired by his English teacher who worked with him and inspired him to become an English teacher himself. So the work you guys do, it's just an honor to stand in a room of all-stars. Unfortunately, I can't hand one of these to everybody, but I can hand this to you. And this is a super small token. It's such an honor and privilege to hand this to you, but this is the Wells Fargo Award. It's for $500, and I'm going to present this to you.
There's more. I'd like to ask Will Wilkinson from Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick and GMC to come forward for a very special presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Bryan. I would just like to echo what they said. I have two children in the school system, a 10th grader and an 8th grader, and the stories and the things you guys do are just amazing. I mean, a lot of you in this room have helped my children. So thank you for that, and thank you for everything you do for all the other children of Lee County. But I came to hand over some keys. So congratulations to you. You have a new 2018 GMC Terrain outside, and that nice check you just received will probably fuel it for the whole year, and we'll take care of all the servicing and all those things for a lease for 1 year. So congratulations. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Katie, I'd like to turn the microphone over to you and let you say a few words.
Thank you so very much. I'm very humbled and honored. Coming to Lee County High School was the best decision I ever made. I was an administrator, and after 5 years, I knew it wasn't what I wanted to do. I took a job. Mr. Keller took a chance on me and gave me a job. I didn't even know what AVID was. And I said, yes, sir, I'll take the job. It was the best career decision I ever made. I was walking in, and one of my students had written me a letter today saying that I was his second mom, and I wasn't happy that he joined the Marine, but I supported that because I wanted him to go to state and be an engineer. So that's why I teach. That letter in my mailbox this morning made all the other stuff that happened today in the school worth it. So thank you. I'm humbled. I'm honored. I'm excited about going to Orlando to speak to AVID because it's not my story. It's my student's story, and that's what I want to share. Thank you.
That concludes our ceremony tonight. Thank you so much for being here. I think for all of our teachers and educators in the room, just a wonderful group. And before we sort of dismiss here, I'd like to ask all the nominees for Teachers of the Year to come forward once we dismiss so we can get a picture of everybody. And because, as somebody said earlier, there are a lot of all-stars here, and want to recognize everybody. Thanks again for coming out tonight, and hope everybody has a safe evening. Thank you.